keep
okay,
this.
okay, okay,
Now, first off, I'd like you to say your name because I don't want to say it wrong.
okay. Well, my name is Digna Sinker.
Thank you very much for that.
Digna Sinker. But I'm from the south of the Netherlands, and they
Uh-huh.
don't pronounce that heavy G. They say Deerna. So a little bit
Oh,
different. We have all kind
really?
of different dialects in the Netherlands.
I get ya. I do. So I want to talk a bit about you first before we talk about the film. You
Okay,
are
okay.
a young 75 years old. So what I want to ask first off, relative to your age, is filmmaking is not easy work. It's not. And you are a little over 40 years old. So how hard is it at your age to keep doing your craft?
I think I'm very healthy, and so
Oh, yes.
I, and I have a lot of energy still. So it's fun for me to make films. Yeah, no problem at all.
I like that very much,
I
actually.
can work forever, the whole night, if that's needed.
Now, if I were to ask you, because you're a little bit older and you've got a lot more experience than some of the filmmakers that will be here, what's the best piece of advice you could give to someone, whether it's with filmmaking or casting or anything that you've learned?
Mm, Difficult question. Yeah. It took me quite some time to find out what really, well, to find my own authenticity, something like that.
Yes.
Uh, and 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 to fight for it, I think in 2009 I made a fiction feature film, my last real kind of normal fiction feature film, and then
Yes.
and I wasn't that young anymore, but then I still made a lot of compromises. So I was so still not so sure that I had to really do the things I wanted to do. So I was always a little bit overwhelmed by that machinery fiction filmmaking is.
Sure.
So and I yeah, and this film, that Key to Heaven, I made it in a kind of total freedom, and that I think that also comes from my background of a documentary maker.
Hmm.
So that was a kind of wise lesson to me that I made a feature-length documentary film called Wistful Wilderness. It's
Okay.
about an island in the south of the Netherlands, and that island that was an agricultural area, and that
Hmm.
had to be transformed in kind of, well, we call it wild nature, but
Okay.
wild nature in the Netherlands, well, there's not wild at all, but okay, we call
Sure.
it wild nature. So the farmers had to move, and I followed that transformation of that island for 15 years. Uh, and that was real. There I learned to find my freedom. So
Okay.
we always went there because it's about 50 kilometers from Amsterdam. So it was for us quite a journey. Uh, so we always went there for kind of a sort of special thing, an important person opening the new restored farm or something like that. But
Okay.
that was only just a kind of alibi. So the first thing I did was look around and see where the light was, how the wind was,
Sure.
to find the nice places to shoot the shots I wanted to have
Hmm.
instead of that kind of official stuff.
Yeah.
So, and in the beginning, you have to get you have to find your way and also you have to convince your camera person and your sound man. But they understood it quite easily. And then, yeah, you have to find your own power to go on with that,
Yeah.
and you have to
Sure.
find out in the editing, will it work?
Oh, yeah.
So do something wrong,
Sure.
and so all this kind of. experiences gave me, yeah, well, I now in the end, finally, I can understand a little bit what filmmaking is.
Very, as she says, a little bit of filmmaking. We'll get into that. I understand that you took over SNG because your partner, Renee, had passed. What can you tell us about Renee?
Uh, uh, yeah, he was a real producer, although he also directed some films. He
Mhm.
started his career actually in a kind of Marxist-Leninist film collective
Oh
in
my
the
gosh.
60s, beginning of the 70s.
Okay.
They were a film collective, very interesting, partly filmmakers, young filmmakers, just coming from the Dutch film school, classmates, but also students in philosophy and I don't know how you call it, language studies, something like that. And they worked together, they found each other together and yeah, kind of fascinated by images and by language. And they decided to make a kind of, yeah, films in a sort of activist way. And sometimes in collaboration with the people what they thought were their audience would become their audience.
Sure.
So and those films they found a kind of inspiration by the films of Dziga Vertov. You know his films, a Russian filmmaker. His
Okay.
most famous film is The Man with the Camera. And there's a kind of
Ah,
diary-like film made in a kind of total freedom, walking around with a camera and shooting what you want to shoot. And I think, I'm not sure when that film is made. I think in the 20s or beginning 30s or something like that.
gosh. Okay.
Really an old film. And yeah, and that was kind of inspiration for them. That kind of avant-garde Russian filmmakers.
Okay. Gotcha.
And they in that collective that they I think that was alive for 10 years. And then there came, but also the time was changing, of course.
Sure.
That kind of rebellious period was more or less ended, the end of the 70s, beginning 80s. So there came a kind of yeah, division, the more artistic part,
Okay.
like well, and actually, I'm still learning that company, and a more activist part, and that was mere kind of yeah, they only made documentary films, and
Mm.
the art part was mixed. Could be documentaries, could be fiction, could be hybrid films.
Okay. Gotcha. Got it.
So from that tradition, yeah, that's where I come from, and my beloved Rene, he did quite a lot of fiction feature films that were in the 80s and 90s. Well,
Nice.
sort of famous.
Mm.
One film was very famous even called Egg, and that was shown at the Cannes Festival. But
Mhm.
lots of films were shown at the Berlinale.
Ah, okay.
So that was a period where film not really had become the product what it is now.
Oh,
In that
yeah.
period, film was still a form of art.
Hmm.
And yeah, sure, it was a form of art you could sell, but it was art. And
Hmm.
nowadays, it's become different.
Yes, it
You know,
has.
the media are big business, and film is part of the media.
Yes, it is. You betcha. Um, I want to ask you a question because typically most people know you as a director and as a producer, but you've actually acted twice. So I'm curious, what got you into acting? You don't appear to be the type that wants to be an actor.
No, not at all. no, 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 no. Uh, no, it was by a sort of coincidence that I discovered my own voice as
Oh,
an element in film. And or maybe it wasn't even I who did that discovery, but my editor, because that was that film on that island.
yeah,
It became I first made three kind of usual normal documentaries, but then the last film was a more personal film.
yeah.
It was so personal that my editor told me, yeah, well, if it's so personal, you really have to do, yeah, kind of explaining things with your own voice. Because also those texts are so your own texts, so you have to do it yourself. And then I started to do it, and that went quite well. And and so I go on with that. And yeah, well, and even for that Key to Heaven, it was not planned at all that I would be in the picture, only my
Really?
voice.
Okay.
But well, we had a I had a sort of accident. Someone of the crew deleted a hard disk with all the
Oh,
things we shot.
okay.
One day shooting, we had to do it in your, and that was a part of that studio scene, the table with an
Yeah.
actor sitting behind. So we had well, we had to do reshooting. But I also had some new texts, so we had also to record new written by myself written texts.
Yeah.
So everyone, yeah, said to me, "Well, just let's do it in the same way. Just you have also to sit behind that table and do the text." Well, we push also the button of the camera. What does it mind? So then I was, yeah, I was also in the picture.
I like that. That's good. You may
And
want
then,
to look at
and
that.
then in the editing, I was a sort of convinced that it was, well, it was not boring, but in a way you wanted to see who is behind
I
the
see.
text, who is the one talking to the protagonists.
Mm,
In every film, yeah, a scene, yeah, you have the protagonist and you have the antagonist,
sure.
and they make the scene. And now it was only the protagonist we saw, and because we had to reshoot, we had extra material. So we tried to find a way also to well, me as a kind of antagonist to be part of the scene.
Got
And it
it.
worked. I think we then decided in the editing it
Oh,
worked.
yeah. Absolutely. You bet. That's why I was like, yeah, I have to ask you about this. Just like I couldn't believe this. If I read this properly, you are a Knight in the Order of Orange Nassau. I've never interviewed anyone who is a knight before. How did you get that title?
Uh, I don't know.
Because that's quite the honor, is it not?
Yeah. Well, I did a lot of work. Yeah, how do you call it? Without earning any money or helping people or helping young people to get all kind of ideas realized and did that kind of stuff. I
Gotcha.
was chairman of all kind of organizations.
Yes.
And that, yeah, I did it for quite a long time, and yeah, well, yeah,
You
I
did
did
well.
a lot of kind of policy things, yeah, just to make film alive in the Netherlands. Yeah.
Hmm. I love that. That's wonderful. So the film. So Key to Heaven, in Dutch, of course. And I'm curious to ask you about, I know that you first started, as I read, the project in 2016. It's now 2025. That's quite a lapse there. So was it financial reasons or timing, or were there certain factors
Yeah,
involved with it taking
yeah, yeah,
longer?
yeah. it was a kind of disastrous history. Yeah, first, my real inspiration in the beginning was the film by Paolo Sorrentino, La Grande Bellezza.
Okay.
Have you seen that film? A film on Rome, and also about a journalist, kind of newspaper journalist, who
Hmm.
always wanted to write a real novel.
Yes.
And he did, in the end of his life, he had to admit he did not succeed in the end. So the
Okay.
film is about a kind of, yeah, hope, expectations, and not able to fulfill them. But that film, that's also a film about finding freedom in how you tell a story.
Yes.
Not easily, not the easy way, kind of mainstream, one scene, another scene, always a main character having a go, but a kind of meandering. I call it always meandering.
Okay.
And maybe not really with a story, but more about a theme in it. A theme
Hmm.
about, yeah, la condition humaine, like, what people, how to live, what life is about. And I like that film a lot. And then I wrote the first sentences for a new plan, and they are still in Hemelsleugel, in Key to Heaven. I still use them as some text in Key to Heaven. So
Okay.
that was 2014 even. But then people from the Amsterdam Harbor, port of Amsterdam, saw that film on that island, the transition on that island, and came to me and they said to me, oh, well, it would be nice if there could be made such a film about the harbor of Amsterdam, because that's also changing a lot uh,
Yes.
because of the energy transition.
Yes.
And well, I walked around there, I cycled a lot on my bicycle, and yeah, amazing that area. And I decided to do a lot more research and to make a documentary about them, about the changing in of the landscape.
Yes.
And I asked for subsidy. I wrote a quite standard script about it. And I applied for subsidy, but it was rejected by the film
No.
fund and by broadcasters. But that was just before the first lockdown for COVID.
Got it.
So there
Okay.
was just one thing important, and that was COVID. So energy crisis was not important anymore at all. And
Uh,
the kind of personal things, well, that was also not important. Only COVID was the thing. And it was rejected. And it was also, they thought the idea was too essayistic, too cinematographic, um, not for a broad audience. And that film had to be a documentary. You needed money from a broadcaster, and then it had to be for a broad audience.
um,
That was too personal. And then I thought, well, I do it in another way. I make a fiction film out of it. So I take the same arena and the same themes, like, well, how to go on, what to do in this difficult world, and with dialogue, scenes between actors, and so on. But yeah, and the film fund was in the beginning very enthusiastic about it. And then I got money to write all the dialogues precisely, and I
okay.
did. I submitted it, and they didn't understand anything of it. They thought it was a kind of, well, nou ja, incomprehensible kind of personal thoughts, not fit for film.
Hmm.
And I got some more money then to make a kind of test editing, and I did, but I wasn't glad myself about it. And I rewrote, is that the word? Yeah, I wrote made new versions of the script, and it was rejected again. And then I thought, well, I will write a version
Yeah.
I can make without any money. I do have a camera.
Hmm.
I do have a bicycle. So I can put the camera in a bicycle bag and can put a tripod in the other bicycle bag and I will see. And I can ask some actors to not to play the scene, but just
Right.
to read the text. And then they will do it for a bottle of wine or something like that.
Wow.
And but then the film funds got a new, they call it a new financing system. You could get money for films that were sort of in between,
Really?
not fiction, not documentary, kind of hybrid like films, experimental. And they had it already for visual artists, and
Yeah.
now they also had it for film artists.
Okay.
And I submitted that kind of no budget version there,
Okay.
and they were so glad that they got this script in their
Huh.
mailbox. So yeah, I got the money, and then
And now,
I could pay the actors, and I could make more. I could do a lot of more shooting with a
sure.
real professional camera man. He's really very good, Melle van Essen. He's also a documentary. He started his career as a documentary camera person,
Oh,
and but now later on he became also doing fiction.
okay.
So and we could work together very well. So that was great.
Nice. Very nice. I found it rather interesting, and it could be, I don't know if this is an international film type thing or your choice to do this. But obviously, as you know, throughout the film, you do the setup like you would in a screenplay, and then it goes ahead and you see the actual scene play out. That's very out of the ordinary because usually in, let's say, most of the states, we just go right to the action. There is no screenplay setup with the wording,
Yeah,
etc. So why the selection to do that?
yeah. In this film, the text is very important.
Yes.
And it is not. I'm always. It is more a kind of. I think even to overcome my own uncertainties, kind of not know, afraid that I don't know what to do if I'm really I'm there to do the shooting. So if you have a kind of really uh, script, you can use that as a kind of well, just uh, difficult to how do you explain it? You don't have to really do it exactly what's there, but you can get inspired by it when you're there somewhere outside.
Got it. Okay. Would you mind if I asked you specifically how many different locations did you need to use for the entire project? Because there were quite a few.
Yeah, most of them are not that far from it. The most is the Amsterdam Harbor area.
Okay,
And
gotcha.
I did a lot of very precise location scouting,
Yes.
all on bicycle, of course. So it was very, yeah, I discovered all kinds of strange places, and they are in the film where no one comes. And the Leah's room is, of course, my own room
Yes.
in my house.
Nice.
And I did in those kind of drone shots in that far away from the city center area, the nature, the wild nature that
Yes.
is in the east of the Netherlands, the Milling White. That's a really nature reserve area. But that's where my editor lives.
Okay.
So there I did the editing of the film.
Sure.
And actually, we shot the film in two periods, a kind of winter period and a kind of summer period. And in between, we did some editing. So also to find out how things would work out. So I corrected all kind of ways of doing. So that is nice. It is not so fixed. It is kind of open what
Yeah.
to do next. And a lot of the shooting, the more documentary shooting, of course, I did it all alone without a crew. During all those years from
Gotcha.
2017 or something like that.
Goodness. Now, your main character, Leah, it's been said by many a writer, as well as a few directors I know, that typically a good writer slash director will always incorporate some part of themselves into their lead. Would you agree with that in this
Yeah,
case?
yeah, sure. Yeah, because this is a kind of, I call it a semi-autobiographical film.
Oh, okay.
Really, of course, there are differences. I am not Leah, but there are lots of things in Leah that are also in myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Within
So
the film.
those letters, for example, the letters
Oh,
from that friend, these are real letters. That's the truth.
oh, huh.
I I have them here. The source, the originals.
I noticed during the course of the film, there are many shades of the human experience that you delve into. In particular, with your film, there's aging, there's loss, there's
Yeah,
it's a personal excavation, really, of digging
yeah,
deep into things. And so I guess when someone watches this who's an outsider, let's say not a critic or not a director, etc., your audience, what do you want them to take away from watching Key to Heaven?
yeah. It's a kind of in my opinion, it is a kind of optimistic film. Uh,
Really?
yeah. Because
Okay.
the message in the end is, of course,
Well,
don't
in
be
the end,
afraid.
yes.
Don't be
Yes.
afraid. And uh, uh, she has to find a way of uh, um, accepting that life is what it is, with all its mistakes in it, with all the things that were not perfect, with the kind of even disasters in a way, um, uh, and in a way also accepting the chaos.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, and so the final solution is uh, you have to look for friendship. You have to look for connections in between people, and you have not to be afraid. So that's the message of the film.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful message and so beautifully put together. On top of which I noticed, so this is a filmmaker question. You cite using Beethoven in there, and I'm assuming to those that are novice filmmakers or people who haven't done that before, is it okay for you to use Beethoven music from a licensing perspective?
Yeah, but Beethoven is dead for more
I
than
know.
70 years. And
Yes.
this music, I reused it because that
Yes.
is also music that I used it in my that film on that island, Wistful Wilderness, and
Okay.
then I organized a quartet, violins and a cello, to play that part of
Yeah.
Beethoven. They did it specially for the film, so I'm
Oh,
the right holder.
there you go.
And I did it also. I made another film. The film is called Keeping and Saving or How to Live,
Mhm.
a documentary. And then I also found actually the same persons, the four violins, and we improvised a lot. And that was not Beethoven, but on Schubert. And they were so it was so nice. We did it in a small church in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And we spent an afternoon just in finding out to do other things with that Schubert music.
Sure.
And they were not used at all to do that with that kind of music. But
Yeah.
we had so much fun in yeah to reuse the Schubert music. So they did it the plain way. But then after that we did all kind of other things with that music. So Yeah, I like that kind of playing with music.
I bet. So if I were to ask you, is the film headed to another festival at this point, or where are you at with the circuit and where you're going with the film?
No, we had not that many festivals. I think the film is a little bit too difficult for festivals. So it was in the at the Biennale, and it was successful at the Biennale.
Right.
It was selected for Rotterdam, the IFFI festival, and that was also yeah good. It's been in Turkey, the Istanbul festival,
Mhm.
but not the real big festivals.
Hmm. Are
Yeah,
you going, are you going to continue to show it in America or?
no, that would be great, of course.
Okay, I got you. I get it. I do. Um,
That would be great, and yeah, so why not? Yeah, yeah.
if if people outside of the festival want to watch it, will you be distributing it live where people can actually see it?
Yeah, it been released in the Netherlands, the film,
Okay.
in small film theaters,
Okay.
and I went quite a lot to the screenings, and we had nice Q&As,
Very, very nice.
but not an enormous box office, but interested interested audience.
That and that's important, I think. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe it's
that's
me.
important.
It absolutely is
It's not
important.
about the numbers, it's about the interest.
Look at that. Now, this right here is a true blue filmmaker right there,
Yeah,
which I was so happy and excited to get the film and so happy and excited to watch it repeatedly and to share it with other people. I need to let you know that your film has been nominated for Best Cinematography in a Feature Film, which I'm super excited about. Very, very
okay,
excited about that.
okay.
Now, um, let me just make sure that I'm not missing anything. Best Cinematography. You're also nominated for Best Feature Film. That's wonderful. I'm so excited for you.
Wow. Oh, okay.
I'm very,
Good.
very excited. Now, I can't tell you who's going to win because as the boss, I haven't looked yet. I can just tell you nominations, but of course, the award show is on Sunday. So I'm
Okay.
super excited about that. I'm just very grateful and appreciative that you were allowing me to actually screen the film, to share it with other people, and of course, to make it known to the world. I can't thank you enough for that and all your
Okay.
patience and
Okay.
cooperation and everything. It's been
Thank
great.
you. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.